Hey guys, so I decided to post up a video kind of showing how I went about restoring these headlights that I bought. These are Eds R20 replicas, I believe. So I bought these off Craigslist for about 50 something dollars a few months ago. And this one was the worst one. I have the other one laying right here. This one was the worst off of the pair, and it's the one I decided to order new lens for to try my hand at seeing if I can change the lens out and hopefully use them in my car. So there was, minimal info about how to do this on VW Vortex or any other forums that I could find, and most of the links and pictures were kind of expired due to PhotoBucket, but I decided I'd post up my own that way, so if people wanted to try this going into the future, they could have an idea of how things are arranged in space in it. And yeah, so it was a pain in the ass to take this off, and it's actually, in my case, was pretty hard to oven bake off, if I have to say so. This is my trial and error one, I say, because I got a few smidges on there that won't come off, and yeah, I just prepped it to start sealing it with butyl, but I decided I'd post up a video first to answer a few questions. So this is the fascia itself. Okay, so I'll just put this in my lap, it's okay. This is the Eds housing itself. It's pretty basic. This is the daytime running light that it's powered. It's a blue LED. It's pretty cool. Let's get some light in there. It's yeah, this is pretty much what it looks like. It's the turn signal and hazard light is built into the fascia itself. It's not back here. So the only thing you got back here is a wiring harness back to your car and a few other wires, but most importantly, you got the projector. It's 3 inches, I believe. So for anyone that wants to take this on and, wants to swap the projector entirely, I haven't seen the cutoff. I've seen some pictures, and you can't really tell from pictures. You have to see it in person, but it's if it's really too bad, then I'll probably change it out later, but I'm not too worried about it. You'll see around the edges, they're the top looks worse, but that's what happens when you think you can oven bake it. And I did try to for about 2 days, didn't work. So what I did was, on the old lens, I actually had to, let's put that there. I don't want to, okay, that'll stay. On the old lens, I basically had to cut out the center portion of this. That way it would leave a flat portion. Sorry, guys. So I had to cut out this part. This was already beat in from, I don't know, I guess previous owner hit something. And this part was already pretty yellow. The headlights themselves are in pretty bad shape, which is why I got them so cheap. But they're a good project. I dremeled all this out after not being able to oven pry it open. And that just left me with these straights right here, which are out there. That's the point I pulled it off from. And after that, just undoing clips. I'm sure there's better ways to do this, but this is my way. I pulled this off. I grabbed some, I don't know. I forgot the name. I grabbed some pliers. That's what they're called. I grabbed some pliers, yanked it off, but I didn't actually realize that in the original one, it has a little slot here. And it's kind of replicated here, but it's not really the shape of the original geometry. So I ended up yanking that buddy out. You can tell the super glue. There's another one right there yanked out, and one down there. That one as well. That one stayed fine because it wasn't actually on the lens. And then this one. I will say, next time, be wary. You might have to do a little bit more cutting. There's a wire that runs to this DRL on the back of this fascia. It's right there that I did not know was connected. I thought it was part of this long set, and I couldn't find it. So I answered my own question when I heard all the snaps from the plastic, but make sure to disconnect that. But it's real tight fitting there. That way, so you don't actually break these tabs off on that. I had to super glue them. Not all of them are essentially important, but the most important one is probably that corner one. That way so it doesn't go further back, and that is the projector side of it, so would say. And this one right here, which is also the most troublesome one. It has its own little channel on there. But these basically are butyl together to this lens, and then that kind of helps it prevent from rattling. These bottom clips, I actually had to Dremel off the bottom of this. It's flat. It was flat, but the bottom of this lens has this little protrusion right there that didn't let it seal properly. And so I decided it was better to cut it, and it did seal after that. This other one doesn't really bother it since it sits within the housing itself, and that one just on the outside of it. I promise there's one right there. There it is. But nonetheless, it was a pain in the ass to try to get this all worked out. The lens had a lot of modifications. You can PM me and I can go in depth on them, but they're not too bad. That was created for the little protrusions on here. It's for a little guide. Kind of weird how you have to do it, but I used a Dremel, and I used a different bit, but I was just using this bit because once you start cutting into this, it melts a lot of plastic, and I felt like that one was a lot easier to work with. On this back end, I actually scratched the fascia, and it was because there was a little clip somewhere around here that I had to Dremel off, but I didn't know that. Yeah, it was that buddy right there. I didn't know that it was actually making contact with that. I thought it was beyond it already. Just because the way this goes on, you have to slide in this end first and then move this into place. But I also had to make the same channel for the groove on the bottom. This will line up with the little clip on your car, hopefully. I didn't have to make any adjustments to these bottom ones. No, actually I did. I had to trim the bottom of this one. I almost forgot, because that way so it wouldn't touch the clip. That is important because the clip kind of sits in a little groove right there, and otherwise that thing would protrude just as far out as that. Let's see. On here, this is the most extensive cut I made. I had to basically grind it down all the way to the bottom of this. It was basically almost as tall as that, and it hits on this clip, and I actually broke this clip several times trying to get it on, but it's all right here, and it doesn't let you seal properly. So that's definitely one to watch out for. This is going to stop on the headlight, I guess the frame that holds the headlight in on your car. The other most important one I did was right here. It's kind of hard to see because it's clear, but it went up all the way up to here, but it doesn't seal properly once you have it in its place right there. Since the old housing had little clips holding it to the frame of the headlight frame, this one doesn't. This is just like a press fit. And after I butyl everything together, it should look nice, but this is just from trying to pry it out. I oven heated just this housing and tried putting everything back together. It was pretty fragile up top, so I just seal it right there, but just try to keep this channel pretty much closed. If you penetrate this channel, it's going to be really hard to prevent condensation. So the back is a little bit more work, but sorry guys, one hand. I have all the covers. It just needs a little work. There's a condensation release. It kind of, I think I just had it up here. They're pretty rotted out. There it is actually. They look like this, or in really bad shape. I guess this guy just neglected it, but it fits right there and it points down. But don't go to the big box stores. Go to AutoZone or something. Get like a little fuel line with a 90-degree bend in there, and you can do the same thing. I did it, but they're somewhere. But I just have to put them back on. This is kind of MacGyvered together, just because the clips on there are pretty delicate. I didn't do this. This is previous owners. I might just add some sealing because they're a little loose right there. But I've had these in my garage for a couple of months now, and they had no condensation issues. Everything sealed up just how it is, like right there, looking like that one. So I'm guessing this worked for the previous owner. I personally did not go and get them. I had a friend do it. So, I mean, I'm sure greasing everything up, the headlight adjustment should work. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just PM me and we can talk details or anything. And I think all in all, I'm about less than $300 on this kit, probably a little bit more. The housing itself was 50, probably 60 bucks. The lenses were 70 bucks. I went these hoses $2.99 AutoZone, and then the 90-degree angles like less than $1. I went with a Morimoto D2H HID kit. I think it's 5500, so it's a little bit more white than yellow. And yeah, it fits back here. You should have a little retaining clip to hold it. I have it currently in the garage, but it holds the bulb nice. I tested it, and you are gonna have to make a little hole in the back of the housing, and then the other wires just connect here. What else? The wires on there are switched. So on the Morimoto kit, you got a black wire and a silver wire, and your black wire is going to go to red and the silver wire is going to go to black. If not, I'll edit that out. But that's what I got to get them running last night, just to see if the bulbs would actually turn on with the housing, make sure the wiring was nice and taut. But yeah, less than $300, and you got some R20 looking headlights. Not bad. So yeah.